LMU time. Hello everyone, good day, good evening. A couple of seconds and we start the qualifying. So this is... oh, I have to reduce the fuel. This is GT3 fixed, the bronze one. I don't even know what's the format here. Come on, unfreeze please. There you go. 8 minutes, so 5 laps. There we go. Let's drive. And it's an early morning. But we got a tire warmer, so... Somebody already saying slowing to pit, nice. I don't even know where are these assignments for the quick chat. One thing, I want to put this back here because it got hidden last time and for whatever reason I got the speedo enabled. Oh, I enabled it last time. I'm gonna turn it back off. Or I can have it on. It's just duplicated info. Alright. I guess it's straight push lap because tire warmers are on. Hi Zari, hi Penicillin. And Pirate King if you're still or already here. I did half a lap of practice before, but it's a Mustang so it drives itself. Oh. Except the understeer. Reduce the TC a bit. Drives itself straight into the crowd. Well, we know how the fixed setups are, so I will adjust my exits. I planned to start straight into the GT3 fixed, but I was like, nah, the point of the GT3 Championship is not... The GT3 fixed Championship for me is not to esport it or like over-prepare. And then I saw GT3 fixed bronze race at Sebring and I just said, well, let's start a bit earlier with the Mustang. We'll get 20 minutes of spa practice anyway. What a nice car, the Mustang. Compared to the Porsche. But the Porsche is fine at Spa. P1, marginally. I keep forgetting how good the Ford is on the brakes. Ah, sorry, that's horrendous. We've just been discussing, well, not we, but I've read in my Discord about the driving standards, and then some people find them quite terrible, some not. I thought that I'm probably pretty lucky, like, if you're quick enough to be always split one, or like at least at the top 5-ish. Well, any split actually, I guess. If you're always like fast enough to be on the top, then you just avoid all the carnage if you can drive away. I don't really have the experience from the lower splits. Because back when I was young and when I started learning how to drive, it was only versus AI offline with the keyboard or the joystick, so I did all my beginner mistakes and terrible driving versus AI. So many people were spared. Two more attempts. I need to find some more pace. Double D, hello. Well, about PMR, I assume you mean Project Motor Racing, right? I really want to try it, though there is just so much things to do in LMU. I don't know. I don't know if I will have really any time. I need to do a couple of Go setups still for Le Mans, and then I need to prepare myself with the team for the Le Mans 24 special event. And then I have that historic race in R Factor 2 on Saturday. And then there is also the ELMS 4 hours of Imola. And I'm away from home for the whole Sunday, more or less. It's, I don't know. Let's see. Need a 10th in the last corner, but I think last lap I had a big snap, so... I have no idea about the pricing. 80 euros sounds excessive. That was not quite any gain, to be honest. One last attempt. So tight to the top. Great exit. And this was not great. I should still have like at least half a tenth in the last corner. Looking good. Very sketchy, but... Oh! Okay. Not fast enough. Alright. Let's see what others do. Solid lap by the Corvette. 60 euros. That's a lot of money for like... Okay, I mean they are not releasing in the early access, right? It's straight to V1.0. I guess. Good evening, Marvin. Okay, outside into turn 1 at Sebring. That's my most hated position to be. Where are you? Speedo off. Yeah, that's better. Or the lap time is visible just about. I don't know why they disappeared last time. Anyway. What fuel do we need? Guess around 45, 50. New tire. Should be good. Quite a lot of content coming on PMR, yeah? Not sure about the tracks. Like it looks good, although then again I don't I don't know, like I would try just to try it. I don't know any other real reason why to even get it. But let's see. I mean, there is always quite a big group of people that just buy it and try stuff, and then others follow if it's good enough. Right. 49%. Exactly the same as the other cars around. What a coincidence. Thank you, Tsari. Skylon, not at the moment. It is always on my mind what to do with the coaching, but at the moment it just, like, time-wise it doesn't really make sense for me. But I will evaluate. Like, the thing is that now we got a deal with another, like with a different team. At Rafa we had different goals, so I didn't ever start coaching when I was at Rafa. Now I'm at a different team that's still yet to be announced, and it's gonna be kind of similar, like it. Anyway, it's on my mind. Maybe in the future. Then the understeer hits. Could have been worse. And now let's see what's the pace compared to the Corvette. I mean, Skylon, thank you for asking. It's always good to hear questions and feedback like that. I mean, for now I'm always just redirecting people towards my old colleague and friend Michi Hoyer, who offers the coaching, who has been coaching for some years, not that actively, because he has full-time job and so on, but he has some coaching now and then. So you can check him. When it will get announced? Great question. I think, I said last time, I think it's gonna be self-evident before it gets announced. but I think official announcement will need to actually wait for some months, which is crazy, but it's how it is, for the better or for the worse. We have some pace here. It's always nice to battle with the Mustang because it's so good on the brakes, good on the straights as well, and so heavy that if you have some contacts, usually it's the other car that suffers, not the Mustang. Just obviously lacks a bit of traction. Quite equal pace here. I'm taking the hypercar line into the last corner, opening it up, but maybe I should be V-shaping the brakes a bit more. He missed the apex. At the moment it feels like I will need some mistake from him to get a proper chance. Oh, I forgot the exclamation mark pedals. I will add it next time. But Heusenqualt sprints. The Mustang indeed, and yeah, with haptics I have Sim 3D. Like it's just a small rumble that I added. I think it's Sim 3D or 3D Sim. I think it's should be Sim 3D. A guy from the UK. I always get this weird snap when I go on the brake, but makes sense. I try to rotate and brake at the same time. Eod, that telemetry, it could as well be the TC, because I think the tiny pedal doesn't offer the raw input. It offers only the filtered. So what you see could be traction control activating, because I didn't say, but I actually have the traction haptics off at the moment, at least for the GT3s, because I feel like R Factor 2 and LMU nowadays, they offer always really good feedback of what happens with the rear, with the sliding and with the wheel spin. I can always feel it. But with the front a bit less, especially lockups, so I'm using the brake haptic a lot more. But it's like very weak, because so I just kind of feel a little bit of rumbling. It's not really massive shaking, because well, old communist block and neighbor living under, everything can be heard, so extra rumbling is really not appreciated. He's pulling a gap on me, oh no. Hey Ivan, yeah Daniela, I think that could be a problem, but I don't know why Motek is able to read it. Like if Motek can read it, then other programs can read it as well. It's not like Motek pulls some hidden data out of somewhere that other programs cannot. Although roll throttle, you don't need the game for that, right? You can just read it directly from the hardware, like from Horizon Quelt or from whatever software. I don't know. Capitalist. Yeah, Daniela, today I'm doing the Imola, the ELMS sprint, and about the 4 hours of Imola we are yet discussing with teammates. Problem is I have the Riverside Vintage race on Saturday and I'm not at home on Sunday, so it looks like we'll do the Friday morning one, or maybe the Friday afternoon. Felipe, basically 138 fixed FPS, monitor is 144 Hz. And well, the camera records the monitor in 60 FPS, but somehow it all works very well together. LMP3, well, I don't know. It's a funny car. These lap times are so close together, 0.5, 0.6, 0.8 behind, but the guy behind it purple lap before. It was a brilliant sector one. Is messed up. That's the mistake that I have been needing. Yeah, now the problem is that the Corvette accelerates rather well. Switch back or around the outside? What to do? has the shortest run. He pushed me off the track. I'm not good through this triple chicane. Now we got the BMW with great acceleration as well behind. But he's doing more and more mistakes, so free to go. Will be not easy around the outside. But I can see him struggling with ABS. What is that, like wet line? I hesitated because of the BMW. I mean, okay. He's not planning to take that apex anytime soon. That's a good run now. Just lacking the traction. Where is the rubber? Difficult. One more chance into the last corner, I suppose. We hit the apex this time, kind of. It's hard to get a run on somebody if the car is not there in this, what is it called, Le Mans chicane, right, left, right. I tried. G. I mean, he did squeeze me a little bit out of that hairpin, but I mean that's, I guess, all within the street justice or FIA rulebook. So yeah. It was a good showcase of what heavy car with great brakes but terrible acceleration can do against kind of a more nimble car with maybe a bit trickier braking zones, but very solid traction and pulls out of corners. That was a good race anyway. We had a really good battle. Will the replay do something? Dear replay. Why am I P1? What happened with the race? Why is he DNF? Why is he DNF? Everything broke. Copy. Let's see the results. I want to... No, I don't think he ran out of energy. Like, he had 2% less than I, but I was overfueled by more than a lap. Let me check if I can actually load the replay here. Wait, is that the right one? There were like 2 Sebring race sessions. Yeah, I don't know what was that. Like the replay just didn't show any car. Something must have broken. Okay. This was the great battle. Right, let me started here already, like almost full up of side by side. This one is so crucial because so many times this results like in the car on the outside underestimating the size of the car on the inside and the contact happens, or the car on the inside understeers off into the car on the outside. But we did well here, and then I'm... Ooh, wow. I mean, that's one way of getting a switchback on somebody. I don't know about this one. Okay. And then he uses his acceleration to stay alongside and gets into the apex. I would have defended this entry on the inside otherwise. And he would struggle around the outside. Wait, one more look at his inputs. Can you guys actually see the inputs? Maybe with this camera. Come on. I don't know, like, did he just try to hit the apex here, but then realized he's gonna cut it, and he just said, well, I'm cutting it, let's maximize it anyway. So he... or was that pre-planned, premeditated? I don't know. Anyway, of course, he sends it on the inside. I get a nice switchback. And then I'm like, should I switch back or should I carry the speed around the outside? But I saw he was going slow, so he's hugging the apex. And I knew if he tried to squeeze me, I have the heavier car. But he left me the space. Then I used the great brakes of the Mustang. First gear. That was beautiful racing, to be honest. And then a nice, very nice switchback, and despite the longer line, I'm slightly ahead of the brakes. I can brake later. Beautiful apex, and then... I mean... it's not the most beautiful thing to do, right? Wait, where is the camera? Can you see from that? The steering wheel is kind of hidden behind. But he opens it up. You can see just a little bit the hand. Or maybe with this you can see... Ah, of course. And then I tried to fake it, but after that I never really got a great opportunity. Just that initial acceleration is just lacking with the Ford. And then when I was almost having a chance a couple of times, I had to kind of think of the BMW, and I didn't fully maximize it. I want to see that dive from the BMW. Must have been here. This felt like a missed chance, but again, if there was no BMW behind, I would have gone for a nice switchback, but with the P3 so close, I cannot do it. Was it here? No, that's the same one. Lap 9? Oh yeah. Oof. Arguably he hit the apex, so... You cannot really do much from the outside here. It's I don't know. If you're in a train, you just have to take the apex, not go for a switchback. But Nah. Alright. I would say slightly clumsy from him, but he just, like, he went a bit risky, but nothing really too bad from the BMW, and I was slightly clumsy around the outside as well. Maybe I should have sent it once more into this corner, like just fully diagonally to the apex and force the Corvette into some kind of mistake. But genuinely, I don't know. That's too much around the outside. Here you kind of, at least I sometimes find myself just trying to go for a switchback, but it's not really a corner where you can do that, because you go off and then suddenly green track, and it's like that old tarmac with no grip, so cannot do anything around there. Yeah, he apologized. Yeah, it's all good. Here I was just, I tried to be ahead of him so he cannot push me off, but yeah, not much that can be done. And then he decided to finally hit all the apexes. So yeah, well, nice race. I just wonder what the results say now, because that end was a bit broken. Ah, Alex, I didn't realize. We are two Slovenians. Double Slovenian podium. Alright. On to the trickier of the races. This is gonna be difficult, I think. But let's see. So basically we have the rain chance in the middle. Like, this is not drizzle, this is light rain, I think. But I don't know if this is overcast and light rain or mostly cloudy and light rain. And we don't know if what is going on. Like, neighbors shouting and dogs barking. What better can it be? I don't know if it's 100% chance or less, so let's join a server and see what is the situation. So in VMS 2 days ago there was a Porsche GT3 on pole in the wet. Pole position for the guy. He was driving in P2 for half of the race, and then I don't know what happened. He ended up behind. Maybe strategy mishap. But at the same time, the Porsche on fixed setup is a funny thing to drive. And my millimores are dropping, so I will eat a little bit. Oh, and it's the endurance pit lane. So I assume this is the 62 car split then? Let's see. All right. And it's quite cold as well. Oh, there goes a BMW on the left. Ah, he spun to the left side, okay. But this is seriously cold. GT3, wait, GT3 Fixed doesn't have spare tires, right? Not that we need them in case it rains. So I can just abuse the Quali tire and use that for whatever amount of laps we need. Copy, Nico. I mean, I will not. I think it's difficult to call them idiots, even though it might feel like that. I mean, again, as I discussed in the last 30 minutes of that fateful Bahrain 8-hour race 3 days ago, the rulebook is what it is. So everybody has perfect legal and moral grounds to just do whatever, as long as it's not crashing somebody off on purpose and so on. Yeah, Logi, I think there are multiple options of what can happen. Depends on what number Dan put into the system when it comes to the weather chance. I'm just too nice. I mean, yeah, at Bahrain I wasn't too nice. Basically at Bahrain we struggled for the whole race to match the pace of the Falcon Dur esports car. But then suddenly in the end, when the night dropped and the temperatures went cold, we gained a ridiculous amount of lap time compared to them. They struggled with the tire wear, we could just go normal pace, basically. So we catched up like insanely. Caught up like half a minute within a stint or two. And then, because I had no clue what's going on, I thought I have to use whatever pace I have now, this corner, and I dive bombed, locked up after the guy ahead kind of defended a bit, like reacted to me to my dive bomb, and I smashed sideways into him, spun him around, waited for him, gave him the lead back, and you know, why not? I did exactly the same 3 or 4 laps later. Just at that time I was slightly closer and I was actually on the apex and fully under control, and he turned into me and he spun around, I spun around, but then a GT3 crashed into him, or was it a hypercar? But he was still ahead at the apex, like half of car ahead, so I was alongside, but not fully enough to be warranted the space potentially. But the rulebook is vague in that aspect, so... But it was a very long race, where it took 7 hours for the strategy to unfold, and when it finally clicked into our way, we went full drama. So, Bessier, P1 in the server, 20.4. We need to beat him, basically. Problem is that the fixed setup on the Porsche is not nice. I cannot do Orouge flat out, I cannot do Stevelo exit flat out, I cannot do Blanchimon flat out. It requires a small lift. But the car goes beautifully into corners and is good on traction. And this one is barely flat, depending on the line. If I lift early and smoothly, then exit is flat, but if I carry just a little bit too much speed, then I struggle through the whole exit. Is this flat out actually? Yeah, could be just about on hot tires. I did a couple of laps of practice before in the wet, and then I tried a bit of offline in the dry, so I roughly know how to drive. I think this time I got the hang of the already long cuts, so I should be using them well every lap. Getting the green cut, but not yellow. That was a nice line. Mattia, yes, that's the final round of the GT3 Fixed Championship. Hello, Rodrigo. Come on, flat out. Okay, it is flat out. And that's a low 20. Alright. I hope Bessier was on Quali fuel for his lap. Yeah, I have one lap more of practice here before joining the server. And the rain comes. Okay, now that's that's not the correct line. Anyway, let's keep driving. Now, I cannot go flat into Rouge. It has to be like 20% lift, and then somehow the differential and everything is happy to rotate. But like the last couple of throttle percent on the Porsche just suddenly detached the fronts from the ground. So weird. Alrighty. 1 minute. Yeah, that's gonna be a pit stop practice. What's the minimum position I need to win? I don't exactly know, because that point system in the standings is weird. We get 2 drop rounds, but I don't think they're yet counted. I don't know at what point they get counted. Is it when the final round is added? Or is it waiting for the admins to like manually click the finish the championship button if they have something like that? But basically, I am just a couple of points ahead of Bessier. And that means that I think I need to be ahead of him and then I win. And if we both fully mess up and Siclari wins, then maybe Siclari can become the champion. Join event. But I'm just worried about the BOP. I hope the Porsche works. The Aston is a pretty nice car. In VMS, the Porsche got the pole in the wet, but that's on open setup. And for the mid-engine and rear-engine, well, Porsche is mid-engine technically, right? Nowadays, for the mid-engine cars, the setup on the fixed are always a bit slower, just to make them stable and drivable for everyone. Yeah, I mean, it shows that I'm 22 points ahead now, right? If they don't drive the last event, the game will adjust once week is finished. Okay, so after this round we should know. 5% wet already, funny. But yeah, the thing is that I'm 22 points ahead, but his 2 worst rounds are worse than mine. So when the 2 worst rounds of him get crossed out, he loses less points than when mine were to get crossed out. So it's actually quite close. And indeed 62 cars. Gonna be crazy. Right, let's load the setup. We will have 10-minute quali. That's 5 laps. Is it 5 laps? The pit exit is quite long. Let's dump. Is that good for me then, if it's dump? Well, the Porsche likes the traction, right? It can put the power down better. I don't know if the session actually has progressing railroad from here or not. Let's see. But yeah, I wish that 22 points wasn't the case. Like, basically, I wish that the 2 drop rounds were automatically accounted for in the championship standings, so we would always know the situation. It'd be just easier for everyone, except for the programmers, potentially. We had some sessions where practice was wet, but then it was actually a dry quali. This is quite damp. Well, not really damp, it feels wet, but okay, the tires are cold. Yeah, gonna be funny. You know, if it's conditions like this for the race start, and then the rain is forecasted, maybe it makes sense to just start on wets. Get a good start, because you don't struggle with the temperatures. And after 3-4 laps, when your tires start dying, you might get overtaken. But then it starts to rain, and everybody has to box, but you can just keep driving. But maybe it doesn't start to rain. Let's see. I don't know about the maximum amount of laps on the wet and the dry. See these purple dots? I don't know what they are. I think it's correlated to traction loss. I updated the tiny pedal overlay and now they appeared. Okay, way earlier braking necessary. Okay, Quali. 5%. Is... okay, 0%. Low grip. Yeah, okay, it's dry. Actually not that cold even. A bit of a troll practice session there. Hello Christ. Yeah, the pit lane I calculated 40 seconds loss with the tire change. But if it's slightly wet, you get those 40 seconds back within 4 laps maybe. Off we go. I mean, the track looks and feels as if it's still damp, but no, it's just cold. LFM Pro Series on LMU. What do you mean? Has it been announced? I've missed any announcement if it's like there. I just saw the teaser a month ago about something. I forgot to reduce the fuel ratio, but it's fine. But either way, if LFM Pro Series happens on LMU, that's great, right? We are still lacking like top quality sanctioned competitions in LMU. Do we even get 4 laps here? Could be close, between 3 and 4. Yellow for locks, okay. I haven't noticed yet, although in the braking zones I'm not really looking at the trays too much. Actually, I think I'm not getting the last lap. Like, I crossed the line with 7 minutes, but it's 2 minutes 20 per lap. So unless I'm doing 19s, I'm just not gonna do it, and this lap will be 23. That's a bit not great, because those who were closer to the pit exit will actually get to do the last lap, the extra lap. And it's gonna be the quickest one because of the tires. Unlucky. Bessier straight into 21s. I don't understand what the people do with their tires. I don't have the grip to push. I could do a couple of donuts, you know, and lockups to warm up the tires. But I need this set for the race. It's fixed setup, yes. And about the wheel angle, I just used the default vehicle set. Coming for a low to mid 21, I hope. And this is gonna be now my last attempt, yeah, indeed. Was too far from the pit exit. So I need to gain 1.5 seconds. Oh dear. Can I gain half a second in bus stop? If I had one more lap, but missed it by like 5 seconds. P10. I don't know. Maybe it's just not a Porsche track or what. But Siclari is ahead of me. I'm 5/10 off Siclari. Maybe I didn't heat the tires up enough. Bessier in P3. P12 for me. Not looking great, but I did all I could. I want to know how these people... he was warming up, right? Kind of leaning on the tires a bit more. I didn't really do that. He's doing the okay, guys, we have something to learn from this. Look at his input on the brake. This is probably ABS on like 7 or 4 or 1. Because what you do by that, you induce micro lockups that really hit up the tires. And if you do this straight line maximum brake input, you just induce a lot of temperature. I never saw this actually in action, but well, shame on me. Because it's a very obvious thing and I know that it's doable, but using ABS to warm up the tires. Yeah, well, and then you have 10 degrees more in the tires, right? But you wear them a lot more. Although, again, if it's a wet race, then doesn't matter. So realistic. Yeah, he did 2 outlaps like that, yeah. Full brake input. Okay. As we are moving to the race session. Okay. So rain chance. I don't know about the rain chance even. Anyway. Think we have potentially... If it's full dry, it's 20 laps. I don't think those couple of percent will do anything. Just gonna take full tank. Cinema time, yeah. P12 in 62 car split one. It's just one split. It's funny. And it's exactly 62 cars. Dive bomb, yeah, let's win the championship into turn 1. Ay ay ay. Where are all the Porsches? 1, 2, 3. Only 3 people crazy enough to still drive the Porsche. I mean, I forced myself to do it for one season just to get used to a car that I really don't want to drive, and I kind of like it in some way. Only in a way. Dive into Pouhon, of course. I can do that. I practice that. I know the script. Thank you, Piotr. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Wets are sorted. Yeah, I was surprised to see only one split, but of course it's 62 car grid, so makes sense. At the same time, it's the last round of the championship, and you know, it's kind of if you care about your DR, it's the kind of weather where you probably don't just want to jump in and have some fun. And I'm here in P12 with Gold 2 DR, risking it all for the memes, for the fun. It's gonna be quite an early start, right? Yeah, I don't have 100% fuel, but I don't need it, like it's not gonna be full tank. Unlucky. Wait, I'm P14. Okay. I didn't realize. No, it's 2 cars in the pits. 10, okay. I was shocked by the grip around the outside of Rivage. Some kind of drama happening ahead. Cannot carry more speed. Dear Porsche. I didn't dive on Pouhon yet. Why is there so much grip around the outside there? Crazy. Nice exit. Georgo. Hvala, hvala. Oh, what was the Greek word? Evcharisto. If that's the correct word. Should have cut across the curb a bit more. I hope Bessier is part of this train here. It's a bit understeery, but ooh, this dive. But it's the Porsche on the fixed setup. Ooh, rain already. Is this the moment where I dive bomb into Pouhon? He's got the Mercedes. I'm scared. %5 rain. This is not box yet. Ay, 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 ay. Was that a lapped car? No, that was... I think we got a... anyway, let's just survive this now. I didn't want to dive into T1, but the guy just broke so early. P8. Box or no box? Okay, well, the heavens please open. And then I hope next lap they all have massive roadblock in the pit lane. Yeah, box for hards. Well, we boxed for wets when we had to box for hards at Qatar some weeks ago on Traction GG live. A hyper, basically, if you go to lower activation threshold, so ABS 7 instead of 9, you will just have more micro lockups and will induce more tire heat, and that's better for Quali. Now let's send it. Still damp, but these new tires don't even like damp too much. On the slicks. So I hope the leaders are now struggling, although they are already going into the pit lane at this point, I guess. Jordi keeps going. Well, he had quite some gap. Rodriguez started on wets or what? He'll be super slow because the wets are burned, but still. Good move. Just risky in case that the rain ever happens. I mean, it's slightly wet, you know. At this point the slicks are so slow. But let's see. If I got illegal overtake now, that would be unlucky. So we were right behind Bieler in the AMG. And that is Kevin Siclari. Thank you for the sub. If we are ahead of Siclari, that is good news, you know? It's very good news. Unless he had a problem. We are P2, right? Yeah, I knew that if I box together with everyone else, it's impossible to exit the pit lane, like it's 62 cars. Or only 40 box in the same lap. It's a mess. Very happy with my tire call, but let's see what happens now. Jordi is stretching it, he's gonna go to the end on the slicks. Bessier is on the right side next to me, behind the wall, and I'm ahead of him. That's great. Alright. Game on for the championship. I'm ahead of all the crucial guys. Rain will end, but that doesn't mean that the road will become grippier instantly. AC rally. I'm yet to try that thing. Maybe in two months. So this is now Rodriguez. He started on wets, probably burned through them very quickly, thermally degraded them. A Beeler keeps going as well. Did Jordi box? It's wet now, yeah, like, good luck on mediums now. This is left guys ahead. Who knows what tires they're on. Ah, the classic. Okay, he managed to back out of it. Ah! Successfully and unsuccessfully at the same time. Nice jump scare for Siclari behind. If this was R Factor 2, then Slicks would probably be still the better choice. Because they kind of worked like intermediates as well. But here, after these tire updates, they don't really have any wet grip. I'm so happy that I boxed. It was the perfect time. I think we will be ahead of Beeler in 2 laps. But not sure if we will be ahead of Siclari as well. Oh yeah, Mark. Good memories. This is P3. We have snow outside here in Slovenia. Whatever has not melted yet, but there are small hills of snow from the previous night. So if it's snowing here, then I can imagine Belgium. They have to box, like, if you're on slicks, you still have to box. It's way too long of a drive till the end. Siclari is so confident on the brakes. Do I have like a problem with traction? Or like with power? It just gains so much on me on the straights. Beeler will keep going. 15 seconds of pace. And we will be stuck behind him through Eau Rouge. Actually not. What has Siclari had for lunch today? Well, I'm battling with Bessier for the championship, I cannot risk too much. But through we go. Bessier is gaining a little bit, but yeah, he will be close in the end. I don't know how to make this car quick. Yeah, I mean, Siclari is like, what, 40 points behind? The only corner where I'm quicker than Siclari is Blanchimont. Well, I got the cut this lap or previous lap, but still. Too risky. Hello Shark, yeah, I mean, I love some wet spa. Especially when I can pull off a strategy like today. That was pretty nice. Yeah, I didn't have the grip to turn. And I didn't know what he was gonna do. Looked like he's gonna take the apex, so I was braking straight to open it up. But then he suddenly opened it up and I couldn't do anything anymore. Predictability. Right, 5 seconds to base here. All that I need. Fuel is... I even overfueled by 2 laps. I mean, I took almost fuel tank. No idea about game chat. I mean, ever since ELMS got launched, the messages are kind of scrambled together and then some very old messages are shown and it's a mess. I never really understand. And most of it is in French anyway. I guess this is slightly wet now. Indeed. It's my favorite conditions, where there is just more and more grip each lap. And the tire temps are now ramping up. Will be 6 to go. We will not stop for tires. 100%. Remember, it's the endurance pit lane, so it's immense time loss. But also it's still quite wet. Go green, please. Okay, quarter point, no problem. Bessier just gaining marginally. I guess for the Aston it becomes better and better now, with less and less wetness. Lift off oversteer through Blanchimon, not the best thing to feel. Five laps, 4.2 seconds. Yeah, Bessier has 2 laps fresher tires, right, so he will have quite some grip. But it's not overheating yet. Bessier is gaining 7-8 tenths. No margin for error. 4 to go. He was actually almost a second quicker. Yeah, I need to finish ahead of him. Green the 20 yellow. What is with these track limits? Time to consider dry tires, oh yes. I guess there's a potential chance if Siclari wins and Bessier is ahead of me that he just doesn't gain enough to actually overtake me in the standings. But I wouldn't like to test that. Box for cards, copy. keep cutting. Anyway, that wasn't too dramatic time loss to Bessier this lap. Free to go. .75 on the rears. Good pace now. I mean, for the whole season, whenever I was like behind Siclari in the last laps, he always kind of fell off. I feel like similar thing is happening now, just that today he just has so much more pace than I that he's still comfortably ahead. No more cuts. Come on, one more lap and one bus stop and one blanchiment and we are the champions. But Bessier is now falling off as well. He lost all pace. Looking good. What is going on there? Is that the guy that started on wets, but had no pace when it started to rain? Okay, what is this about? Well, Rodriguez is not a French name, so I think it's fine. If it was a French name, I would say maybe he's working with Bessiere. But okay. A fun thing to do in the last lap, when the leaders are approaching, park it on the apex, block them, destroy all kinds of fight, but alright. I don't think I had any chance against Siclari anyway, and I kind of have still enough gap to Bessiere, but that was surely a bit of a random. $1.7. And then I'm saved from the Porsche for the foreseeable future. Although it was still a pleasant experiment to drive it in this championship, and the bob was good, pace wasn't that great, but Siclari had his issues, and then Houben has his own issues, and they both had better pace than I, but well, in quali at least. But overall, if I can survive bus stop ahead of Bessiere, it should be mine, the championship. Prince KB FOV is 26 degrees. And the last time on the brakes, one last yellow flag ahead. What's that for? Okay, it's gone. And I think we should be champions. Yes. Oh, what a race! Like that strategy call. That strategy call was beautiful. Not sure how much was it just luck that the rain just ramped up so quickly, and how much it was just that I knew that when it becomes damp, especially around a long track like Spa, it's sketchy to stay on slicks. I am the GT3 fixed champion. Well, unless somebody protests me for unknown incident and I get penalized, but I don't think I did anything bad today, so what a race. I'm just gonna quickly check. Wait, Siclari, I mean, I boxed, they stayed out, and I guess they were just super slow. Fast forward. Well, thank you, chat. Thank you so much for all the G's and congrats. We will check the standings after this. I need to check the Rivage outside overtakes as well. That was insane. I didn't think the Porsche could ever do that. So I'm boxing here, right? Yeah. It's like damp, and the rain keeps increasing, and then I'm like, if everybody boxes, I might stay on track, but maybe I box anyway. But then everybody just goes left, and I'm like, yes, my chance. And then I'm like, oh, Biller is boxing? No, he's not boxing either. Amazing. And that was my chance today, because from 10 positions behind Bessiere, I was never gonna catch him. And then... well, they had their own battle here, so that didn't help when I'm gaining in the pits. Ah, the server is turning off, right? Just wanted to see the balance. Yeah, the speeds are already very low here. You know, it's always a bit difficult to calculate, because basically they box when it's more wet than I. That means that they're spending their time stationary in worse conditions, and I'm spending my time in better conditions. So basically I'm driving more in the wetter part of race, and they are driving more in the drier part of race. So it's tricky if you box too early. In that case, it's better to be... yeah, very sketchy. But it was way too wet here. And then, of course, they all boxed. They didn't all box. Why they kept going? Is that just RF2 instincts? Actually, Siclari had... ah, okay, he had to wait. He had to wait. I had to wait a little bit as well. Just checking where is our dear Bessier. And Jordi. Jordi had such a nice pace, but he boxed way too late as well. Well, that's a bit bugged sounds, but you get the idea of how slow it is to keep going on slicks. What? Small misfire on 6 of the 8 cylinders. Or is it a weird blown exhaust? I mean, despite all the time he lost, he had fresher tires in the end, but just about couldn't make it to catch me. Low speed is especially sketchy. And if the server lets me, I wanna see how much traffic he had in the pits. Actually, none. Okay. Oh, I said I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check if I can find myself. Come on, why is it jumping around? Yeah, this move, like, how, where is the grip coming from? Oh, the road is bugged. Okay, it's dry now. Around outside, and he tried to kind of squeeze me off. At this point you are normally doomed. But then the Porsche does something that... like the rear just kind of kicked off and just pushed right into the exit, and then he cannot even squeeze me off track. That's intriguing, I need to remember that. Maybe only works with the Porsche. Alright. Alright. And I will even gain DR despite my worries on the race start. Yeah, maybe penicillin, but I think there is just like the balance thing with the Porsche, where if you go on throttle a little bit too early, then you're dead, you will not make the exit. But if you go late enough, if you can coast for long enough, then you can kind of smash the throttle and get that last bit of rotation very late, and it's a very powerful rotation plus traction at the same time. Race results, championship standings. So here we go. I get 8 points more than Bessier. We finished 20. So it's still 22, right? It was 22 before, but now the worst two are removed. The worst two results. So 256 and 249 for Marine, and actually we had such a low elo on average that this was my worst result of the season. Okay, funny how it works. So then actually Marine gets this result removed as well, and 249. Anyway, this should be already with the removed points, so that should be it. That should be it. We are the champions. I don't have friends. Luca kind of abandoned it in the end. Alright. But the stream is not over yet, because I wanted to check out the Imola as well for ELMS. I'm not fully sure if I'm doing it. I said before on Friday maybe with Colin we do it in the morning. This is gonna be quite a split with Grigoletto, and I didn't practice. Where is my friend Tom Dillman register? And let's get some practice in. Luca is ACC guy, right? Like he's very quick in ACC. I don't know why I was doubting the game. Of course it's gonna load. Just wait a little bit. Get scared by the no vehicle and the black screen. Just wait for it to settle. It's all gonna be good. Oh, LMP2. What I do normally with LMP2, calibrate 380 to open it up a bit. Then we load the Go setup and hope that the guys have what's the word? The guys have cooked. I've only done Silverstone and Interlagos for LMP2, the ELMS one. Didn't touch Imola, so let's see how this handles. So much downforce. Okay, this is gonna take a couple of laps for the brain to reset from the Porsche balance to the LMP2 balance. And the tires are kind of cold. It's gonna be better once I warm them up. It's basically just a hypercar, or basically the hypercars are just LMP2s, just heavier and more powerful, right? You can carry quite a lot more speed into the corners with LMP2. Feels quite nice. Yeah, Logi, I know that's a good fact. But just put the steering wheel to the left side and I will be able to drive it. Imola is always very important for track limits. Like you need to nail them, and then if you suddenly have the steering wheel on the wrong side, then good luck. Hypercars are such whales. Yeah, I mean, they have their charm, right? The way that they need a long time to stop, and how clumsy they are on the brakes. This is fuel times 2. Good to know. Then box. Yeah, wait, what is it? It's one is the Ligier, one is the Norma, and the other one is I don't even know. I think there are 3 LMP3s, right? I think so. Gineta, of course, Gineta. Didn't read one important message. There is no Norma, it's Duquesne. I don't know to pronounce that. I could brake a bit later. Let's take a bit more fuel then. Wait, we need a good launch from the box. Alright, 1% less maybe. I like that. This is such a nice functionality on this Grid Engineering Porsche wheel. To set up the double clutch. One button is for plus minus 10%, the other one is for plus minus 1%, and then the LEDs light up. Setup is nice, but I don't know what lap times Girgoleto will be doing. I really wonder how many teams are gonna do this Imola just to gain the team or the lineup DR for Le Mans. Although this is only times 4, I think. Bahrain and Spa were times 5. When it comes to DR gain. That's my Porsche. Oh, this is such a nice car. Just drives so nicely. Oh, yeah. It's still 15 minutes to go. Yeah, I think this schedule got a bit shifted around, right? Normally I finished GT3 Fixed Championship race and then I just jump straight into WEC experience with a couple of minutes of practice, and it worked perfectly. But now there is not really any race. We have, I think there is this one stint sprint, and then WEC experience is at 2050, and this ELMS is 2040. It's a bit weird gaps. But I really wanted and needed to do this one just to get the feeling of what's going on for the weekend racing. Keep messing Tosa up. Maybe the headlights will help. actually. I'm thinking of enabling the brake wear thingy, although I won't really get any information. Well, basically, we got a kind of a problem now in Le Mans Ultimate currently with the brake failure in these special events. I did some tests yesterday, but I guess for the 4 hours it's not really necessary. Would be a bit of a waste of time to turn that widget for brake wear on. Well, rip. So the Valkyries are destroying the brakes and the AMGs are destroying the brakes. And there is kind of a bug in the setup menu where you cannot read the disc thickness. And it's a bit of a problem because you have absolutely zero indication to prepare for brake changes and so on for Le Mans. I mean, traffic will always be a bit funny around Imola. At least the main straight is very long and wide nowadays. I just cannot get one single clean lap. That's a bad idea. Around the outside of the Porsche, and the Porsche has zero chance of making the corner. I shouldn't have lifted. I think that would not have been a track limit. It's still very lenient through there. Okay. Funny. Is this because the chassis is so stiff that that curb just disrupts the flow? Nicodem, hello, it's starting in 10 minutes. Although at this point I should rename the stream title, because well, the championship race is done, so this engine braking in first gear is very, very strong. I just feel like I should maybe rather coast in second gear. one more lap of fuel, then I do some calculation for strat. Johan, thank you for the sub, welcome. That was a bit of a late one, but... Sorry. I mean, good to know now, because this moment will happen a lot in the Imola 4-hour race, right? Approaching turn 1, you know, if you don't overtake the GT3, you're gonna lose out so much time. But if you go for it, he will turn in on you, because, well, he's basically on his turn in point here, and you're not alongside yet. And then he will be slightly unhappy and you will be on a bad line, and then suddenly you jump over the curb on the not ideal exit line, and it's just whee! And he tries to go around and you have an incident. Alright, alright, alright. Best car with GT. Yeah, I mean GT. I like the GTs, but I really love how these new tires prevent these old R-Factor slip angles, like excessive slip angles. Right, I need to do some calculations, so... The calculator. So basically we have 40... Is it 40-minute race? Yeah. 40 and 60, and then how much will we lose for the pit? I think around... Let's say 30 seconds for drive-through and 40 for the refuel. And then we divide that by... We'll be doing 93-second lap times, let's say. Could be 26 laps if everything goes perfectly. So for 26 laps... wait, first we have 75 liters. I need 5.2 full push. I will do 15. So we need 15 and 11. 11 times 5.2. 57. Okay, so that's the plan then. Full tank. Make it 15 laps. It's fuel times 2, so fuel saving is important. And then just refuel 57. Although, probably we're gonna do lap less. And then that last extra lap is important. Maybe we evaluate during the race what's the average pace. And then see what happens. One sole LMP3. Ah, there are more. Actually, I wanna keep driving on the old tire. It's already heated up a bit. People don't have taste. Well, that's one of the oldest issues of the humanity. Ah, the brakes! That's gonna be a fun thing at the start for Imola 4 hours as well. If people forget that the LMP2 has chronically cold brakes, if you don't brake drag, turn ones will be classic. Imola is always carnage anyway, with the LMP2s. As I bring into my memory the race where it was LMP2 and GT3 or even GTE some months ago, when I was GT3. And after first lap I was like P6 overall, despite there being, I don't know, 15 LMP2s. There were some crazy races in the past. Somebody wrote Yerne in the in-game chat, but I couldn't read it. Wait, how to get it back actually? Ah. Yerne question. Yes. I don't know what to answer. Right, so GT3s are actually decently quick on the end of the straights. Okay. Not my fault this time. It rotates a lot in the second gear as well. Maybe I should just use second. I mean, this is the esports setup from the Go pack. The Quali esports, so I hope the race is slightly less sketchy. I mean, it was really good in the first laps, but now that the tires are slightly worn off, I'm bouncing around a bit too much. But that makes sense. Okay, pit entry practice. Still a bit too early. Okay then. Not only Fabio, also Niklas. And I fear they are fully prepared. I fear they have built their own setups and optimize them for their own preference, and they know exactly how the car feels and where are the track limits, and they will be half a second per lap quicker. Because I basically just jumped in and loaded the Go setup and did a stint. Let's see. 6-minute quali. And we have the extra tire set. 6 minutes, that's 4 laps. 4 laps, but it's times 2 fuel, so we need 22 liters. Wait, are those race lap times? Yeah, they must be. I mean, I never got a single clean lap, so okay. I did like 33 something. Well, I will find 2 seconds somewhere. It must be somewhere available on the track. But I guess we are targeting for 30 highs in quali. Either way. Not here for the esports today, but to learn a little bit and to have some fun. The loading today is relatively slow, maybe? Let me not leak my mate's setup. So 4 laps of fuel. Does it make sense to practice the pit exit. I can maybe practice pulling out of the pit box. Okay, now the tires are cold, but they're gonna be hotter on the stint. It's decent with the clutch. Anyway. $45. How many LMP3s we have? 6 LMP3s, 26 GTs. And only 6 LMP2s as well. Wow, okay. I mean, that says something about the racing on the weekend, right? The track is gonna be full of GT3s with barely any prototypes. We have Gibo in the server as well. With his beloved LMP3. Lucas, I think one thing is steering wheel on the wrong side. The other thing is that it's a weird class. Like if you want to do GT3s, you do GT3s. But if you want to do something quicker, then you just go LMP2 because it's quickest, and then LMP3 is just kind of in between, like a weird choice that you take just because you want something different. I don't know how to really explain it. In your lobby you have 24 LMP... Okay, wow, interesting. Then maybe something broke. Ah, Michael, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to getting the email from MSG with the PDFs, with the official, like, what is it even called? Plaquettes? Ah, I don't know what's the word in English. Virtual medal. Although, in theory, you know, there is still a chance that there is some random crazy high esports split one other day, because I think GT3 Fixed goes also on Sundays, maybe another day. And then maybe Bessier can somehow get more rating, but I think it's gonna be difficult. It's placard, yeah. Like a diploma from... Anyway. 3 hot laps to make it count. The first of them is on cold tire. Actually, it's gonna be only 2 more after this, yeah? Yeah, okay, yeah. Decent to attempt extra. Yeah, Mike, I agree. There is way too little information about everything available. For iRacing you can get everything. In LMU it's also hidden. Houben opens up with... Well, how are they... They are doing something weird with the tire. They always have crazy quick lap ones. High 32, no, what's that gonna be? High 31. Too slow. Need one more second. Not like that. I've done better laps in the past. Feel like there is more than half a second still hiding somewhere. Okay. Well, P3 it is. only 6 LMP2s, I don't know what's going on. Hyper I wish, but I don't know if that's on any priority list. Also, I don't know, I think there was a discussion about it some time ago, and there was a mention of the problems with NASCAR, like in relationships, as they fail to produce a good game, MSG. I'm actually shocked I'm only half a second off, like that was a terrible lap. Like Tosa, it was fully messed up. Lost 10th or 2 on the entry, lost 3/10 sliding, and then lost extra 1/10 maybe on the whole straight after it. I think if I nail Tosa, maybe that's a bit too much. Maybe I would gain 3/10 there easy. And then another 2/10 easily around the lap, because it was just trying to feel what the car is doing. Yeah, I'm happy with P3. I think that's where I belong for now. but let's see what we can do in the race. So with this pace, it should be good news in the chat. It should be 26 laps, so 15, and then fuel for 11. Tires are fresh. Tank is full. Let's set up the strat. And see what happens. Houben did 30.7. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. As I said, the quali felt remarkably slow. And it was basically my first proper attempt at setting up a lap time on low fuel without traffic. GTP at Daytona. I mean, it's a nice combination in iRacing. But, yeah. The tires. Anyway, time to have a race. It's 6 LMP2s. 6 LMP2s. Do I have a rear wing? Let's find out. I have a rear wing. I got a nice smack on the finger there where I tried to get back the grip of the steering wheel. Sorry, I need some more road. Unbelievable. Well, Houben died, so we have a race. And actually Grigoletto before. So we got the whole quali grid kind of almost reversed. But 6 LMP2s, and I'm third of them, and still somebody finds a way to crash. I think the finger has been kind of saved by the glove. Wonder how much damage Houben has. On the positive side, you cannot really lose too much DR if there is only 6 people, right? Basically should be around 80 Newton meters peak. But I have 0.4 in game, like 40% in game, so it never really hits that. I don't have clipping, so like 8 to 10 Newton meters, I guess, is normal sustained FFB, at least in higher speed corners. Would need to check. Anyway, car is kind of alright. That is Grigoletto. He must have some damage, maybe. Or maybe he's just waiting for Niklas. Well, now we have quite an interesting race, because I think they both have pace over me. And they're behind. Somebody ahead of us is getting protested anyway. Although I guess the results of the race count. About iRacing, like every time I try to esport iRacing, I just figure out that 99% of skill in iRacing is just in mastering the brake pedal and learning what kind of brake input you need to make, and it's not the kind of real life or LMU or ACC or any other game input that would be logical. You just need to slowly climb up to like 75%ish depending on the car, sometimes up to 90%. And then hold it there and then kind of release it into the corner, but always hold a little bit through the whole corner. But just that initial phase when you go on power, even for quali laps, you can brake 50 meters earlier and get a better delta, because you shouldn't slam the brake, but you should just like slowly ramp it up through the 50 meter phase on a heavy braking zone. And then somehow the temperatures are much lower and you have more grip and everything is faster, and it makes zero sense. But if you can do that, then suddenly you have ×5 grip in iRacing on any car. I think it's the same technique on any car. At least in those that I really tried hard in esports, which is basically the Porsche GT3, that V8 supercar that we drove in VCO, the ground effect Lotus, the vintage F1 car. What did we race? I raced also the Cadillac before the tire update around Indy. It's the same for every car, like ideally you buy brake with dampers and you put damping to 200% and then you push the brake and it just slowly lets you increase the input. And then you're quick, instantly, just gained a lot of time. I mean, I would say that the new tires have infinite grip compared to the old ones. Although I only tested very briefly after the updates. I think I did that IMSA Global Esports, or like the race with Coandas and Red Lines when we were at Rafa. And that was like 1 week before the big update on the tires. I need to fuel save a bit more. Maybe P2 is possible, depending on how much fuel he has now. Hyper for sure, that's one part of it, and then just being comfortable with something. If we have like 2 or 3 small successes, and if you know that if you drive more you can gain more time, then you just drive more to try to gain the time and leave the other games alone. And the online system of course works well. So if you drive 80% in LMU on 9 Newton meters, then you have greater chances of having FFB clipping, which means that the game asks for more FFB than, or more Newton meters than the base can provide. Heavy battle behind Houben on Grigolato for P5. Mills Metro, oh yes. Boxmaster around Mills Metro. Ah, that was RF2 actually. That's an LMP2 in the barrier. Nice rejoin. Magnificent rejoin, should I say. And he was P2 before, right? Actually, they clashed with P2. I don't know which guy took me out, to be honest. More yellows? That's a Ferrari. Actually, that's quite perfect now. I will get so many on the straight. Wait, P2 had a... He lost the lead. I think Koenig was in the lead before. Who would have expected that a race with 6 LMP2s would be this intriguing? As I know, it's Samsung C49HG. Yes, Stefan, I think there is a problem somehow. Someone said before that they are in a split with mostly LMP2s. I don't know what's going on. This Tosa is a bit sketchy. Oi, oi, oi. Not a cut. I lost 4 tenths. That was Zwirs still corvetting around. And that's Houben in my toe. Oh no. He has nailed the chicane. I think I have more rear wing, or less rear wing, or maybe he has damage. Oroch, thank you for the sub. this traffic tricky. Why is he flashing me in the exit of a corner? And then LMP3 right into the most important spot. Well, I can flash back with my rear lights. So I would assume he now has to box. See you soon. So how many laps now we get? 11 or 10? Flashing means skill issues. Potentially. 38. I have zero clue why he was flashing all the time. Like, what's the point? Does he want me to discuss the flashing on the stream? Yeah, the first pit box is quite a nice thing to have. Now let's hope nobody boxes. Looking good. Good clutch. Oh, they are all in the same space on track. 11 to 13 seconds. Do I have enough time to exit the pit lane in peace? 2, 1, P1 goes through. No! How? I had to refuel less. Or is it the game adding one extra lap to me? And then I took one lap too much? Is it 10 to go? The game trolled me. It's at 57. I would need 52. Unlucky. Done! Report the bug. I mean, probably it's very on the limit. Now I have just enough for 11 laps. And both in-game and Tiny Paddle agreed that it could be 11 laps. But it's gonna be 10 more after the pit stop. So yeah. And because it's times 2 fuel, it means that like 1 liter is 1 second and 3 seconds would put me into P2. And I have a skill issue now as well. Just waiting for Fabio. Sorry for the rejoin. Anyway. Let's see what we can do from here. I think like the car is a bit broken anyway, so I don't know if it's my driving or the setup or the car. Where Fabio? I cannot drive anymore. Now I hope the top 3 have massive fun for the last few laps. Then maybe we have another freebie. Like very late on the exit this snap happens, unexpectedly. Maybe the tires are as well a bit worn on the rear. 93 is not really overheating. But it's something about landing off that curb and applying the throttle at the same time. It just doesn't work. Somebody has to learn where to put the car. And Fabio is gone. What a race! Like what is even happening? I should have done a better calculation for the fuel, and I would be now in that mix. But oh well, cannot always do maximum on the calculator. I did it all perfectly at Spa, so I'm happy with that. Average ELMS race, indeed. Why do I think Max plays iRacing only? Well, now that you say that, what was the last special event he has done? Around the outside! Okay, BMW has a front wing, so he was able to clear me without bump. I think Max was actually quite happy driving. What's that? Driving R-Factor 2, but he was unhappy with everything, like the whole system and with the team and the organizers, or some of the organizers. I need to be slightly careful with what I say because I know something, but I don't know. Like you know, let me put it like that. The iRacing, the brake thing about iRacing that I was talking about before, the way that you need to slowly apply the brake input to like brake, to kind of almost lift and coast, even in quali laps, like just this slow increasing brake. Never go like full crazy, full input, which you would do in real life. That's like iRacing special thing, and it's part of their tire model, and they are just not fixing it. And it's unrealistic, it's completely unrealistic. And I think Max knows that. And that's Houben, and that is Niklas Houben. What a race. Why is he so slow on the apex? Maybe he has damage. Didn't look like he was like in some damaged position on track. Maybe it was just a spin. He's wobbling. And that unlucky traffic means that we have a gap now. He has rear damage, okay. Maybe he wanted me to crash into him. I can try that. I know how to do that. Doesn't really have sufficient rear damage. Yeah, the car is kind of deadly. Like on fresh tire, it's very good, very decent if you know where the problems can be. But as the tires wear and as the pressures rise, and the rear temperatures and so on, it can become quite crazy in some spaces on track. Like here. Just about held that one. And he's gonna clear both GT3s and I'm gonna get stuck. Ay ay ay. Big dive. Okay, he lifted. Come on, what? Just zero grip suddenly. But no, indeed, this tire is like it's very nice if it's new and if you're driving within the confines of grip. But on the edge, it's just so deadly. Though again, I'm driving the esports setup. That's made for max pace, and normally for max pace you need to practice a little bit, but I basically just jumped in and hoped for the best, and with stiff cars that's never a great start. Free to go. Like Tosa is really nice if you just gently make the apex, almost like in iRacing way, ironically, but yeah. A shame I couldn't overtake Houben after he spun. Would have enjoyed a bit of disco lights in the mirrors. Yeah, Johnny, indeed, like with setup you can do a lot on the car to make it more stable. Wonder how the safe setup is on the Go, in the Go setup pack for this track. And yeah, about the hypercar, yeah, let's see. I mean, I guess the way that Studio 397 is operating and the kind of people that are there, I think they know all the issues. It's not like they're just trying to do something and hope it works. They know all the technicalities. So I hope indeed that hypercars will be pretty nice and not that deadly, and I hope that LMP2 can get a click or two of fixes, same for GT3s. Just a little bit, because that edge on the limit sometimes is a bit silly. IRL teams and esports setups, well, one lap to go. Problem with esports setups is that I don't really know how esports setups work in iRacing or ACC. I know that in iRacing you're basically driving under the limit so much, you're never touching the limit, and in that way you're offloading the front work by making the rear incredibly oversteery. So basically the esports setups in iRacing are kind of just undrivable if you push them, because they are not meant to be pushed, but on the 95% of pushing, kind of, they just work tremendously well and produce crazy good rotation. If you know how to drive iRacing. And then of course in real life you have a bit of uncertainty of how much grip you will have each lap. In esports you do 500 laps and you know exactly what's gonna happen, so you adjust setup according to that. IRL, you need to be adjusting it according to the kind of worse scenario of grip, otherwise you crash in quali. Anyway, that's gonna be the funniest before in my recent history in the LMP2s. But alright. Need to talk to the team. But yeah, I agree with Niklas' message. It was proper jungle. Yeah, well, I get spets recommended on YouTube sometimes, but I get frustrated or I get depressed just watching iRacing. I don't know, maybe it's the color scheme of iRacing, maybe it's the way that the cars drive. It's just like, or maybe it's bad memories. I just never really enjoyed it that much. I really enjoyed that Pouhon 10 hours that Lawrence Dusoswa organized a year and a half ago. I drove. That was the first ever wet event, like big wet event, 1 week after it was released. I really enjoyed it. In the wet, it felt great. Anyway, yeah, let's see what happens. I lift, save fuel. I mean, he drove into my rear. Everybody spun. You know that there was a race at Le Mans where all the LMP3s were at some point in turn 1 all off track. Every single one of them. Like whole LMP3 field was off track. I mean, yeah, maybe he didn't warm up the brakes, but he just... He wasn't even trying, like it was not a brake problem, he just drove into my rear. He miscalculated the overlap. I mean, arguably it was not much of an overlap, but a couple of centimeters. Just enough to have the basically unbelievable. How did that look from Gibo perspective? Like 6 LMP2s and incredible. Like it's funny because here you're focusing on not locking up and focusing on Fabio on the right side, and then suddenly you check the mirror and there is like unbelievable. And then you need to recover out of the gravel. And where is Fabio actually? I did a decent job of kind of just about surviving and finding extra bit of tarmac. Wow. These little things, you know, that just a minor mistake. It's not really anything bad, but it destroys a race of one driver. Just small tap. Well, not just of one driver. The Porsche rammed him twice. It was a proper chain reaction after. Just let's check what happened with Houben then. Wait, where is that moment? Right. Does it happen here? R-Factor crash sound. That sounds like a video on my channel from 15 years ago. Ooh. ELMS, you know, ELMS things. Houben has a really high downforce setup. Around the outside, puts the power down. Yeah, that's the LMP2, like on the dirty part of track, on green track. He was already on the limit because of the little touchy bonk, and then the rear is kind of rotating here, with quite some slip. He kind of catches it, but there is no traction, like. And then on the grass, like, trying to put the power down, nothing happens. And then the first gear goes to 300 kilometers. Here I come. Just not enough. And then I binned it, but let's not look at that because it's server over. Do I lose? I lost a lot of the R here. Oh no. Back to gold one. Niklas. That was the weirdest of races I have ever experienced. In the past months at least. Niklas, you still gained the R. But because I was bottom half, right? I was bottom half of the result, so I lost a lot more. Yeah, I don't know. Very strange. What did it change with the R? So basically they just made the brackets bigger, so we all kind of lost one number. And I believe they made it like before you could even lose the R if you won. So like if you're P3 in Quali and then won the race, it would cause you to lose the DR sometimes. Because Quali. Like it is super retarded. I don't know who thought of that. Made no sense, but now you kind of gain DR if you're like top 5. I don't know exactly how it is. It's more logical, but still like I don't know. What is it even like? How many cars does that have to be for it to even count as official? I think like 5 is the limit. Well, with 6 it's just about enough. Yeah, Magnifico was magnificent. Worst joke, but I don't understand. Killed many people, many races, and still fumed. Platinum DR, you know, it like in iRacing. 10 years ago, 7K iRating was a lot. Like top 10 were 7K. Nowadays, it's if you're 7K, you have still 5,000 people quicker than you or something. Give it 3 years, and then LMU can maybe have 10K average players, and we are battling to go into the platinum ratings. I think David is about to go gold 3 anyway, but to go from gold 3 to platinum 1, like maybe I don't know, couple of special events. If he wins them all, not gonna be easy. After 10 years, you want R Factor 5. I'm same here. R Factor Ultimate. How will they name it? Like the name R Factor in hearts of many, it's like the best sim ever. In hearts of many others, it's the biggest hoax in sim racing history almost. Nah, Rain Sport is the biggest hoax in sim racing history. Yeah, let's see. Anyway. How does it look even in gold 2? Wait, it's a bit broken here, right? I need to restart the game to get it down. Anyway, I'm not gonna look at it. This has been a stream, 3 quite funny races. We are the champions for the GT3 fixed, most likely, so that's great. And see you at Imola. I think I will. There is 60% chance I do Imola on Friday morning. I will not do it on the weekend. I'm not available. So have a nice week. Thank you for watching, for the subs, for the likes. If you have not liked yet, I will be very happy if you do. Thank you already for every likes given. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.